Hi there, it's Scott, aka Sketchy McDoodles. I am a art enthusiast, and I guess sort of an amateur artist. I've been drawing a little bit over a year, just kind of learning as I go, and in my free time. It is not my profession. Um, so you might be wondering, why, as someone who's not really an artist, making a art video, art process video? Well, I know there are a lot of people out there who are just starting their art career, or their art journey, and I guess I want to put out there that it's okay if you're not a super talented and gifted artist. It's okay to still make art. It's okay, man. It can be difficult when you watch videos with all these amazing artists or see art books with amazing art in them, and then when you're just learning, you sit down and try to draw something or paint something or create something, and it's not quite up to that par. Well, here's the thing. Stop comparing yourself to other artists. It's great to watch them and admire them and see their techniques and how they achieve certain things. But the only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday, or a week ago, or a month ago, or a year ago, as far as your artistic progress. So maybe that's another reason to make videos and to have a sketchbook and share your art. You can look back a year from now and see what kind of progress you've made. So I guess I'm making this video because my art isn't that great, but I love doing it, and I love seeing your art. Whether you're new at art or you've been doing it for 30 years, and post that stuff. I love seeing it. So what is this? This is going to be a process video, so kind of a hybrid process where I will start out with a traditional sketch using pencil and paper, and I'll just kind of sketch out a doodle, something simple. Like I said, I'm new at this, so anything that's really detailed or has a lot of elements is going to take me a week or two, and I wanted to make this video this weekend. What you may notice also here is that most of this video is going to be a voiceover because I'm also very amateur at videography and making videos, and during this first part right here where you see my hand making this little circle here, I had the mic on and I was kind of talking through that, man. I was kind of rambling on, and when I went to play it back, the audio was broken up and just really bad. And it turns out I had a really cheap USB-C connector to my microphone, and it was an old one that I just grabbed out of a drawer, and it was not great. But I've got a new mic cable now, and hopefully we can finish this video. So in this video, I think I was discussing how when I first started out drawing, I'm very heavy-handed, and for me to try to learn to draw lightly, to make light lines and light sketch lines, and to not just bury the pencil was a challenge. I've gotten to a point where I can sketch a lot lighter now. I'm a little more light-handed. It's not great for the video, obviously. You can barely see. But one of the important things, especially if I wasn't going to be converting this into digital art, about shaping out your design and just lightly drawing it in there, is you're going to make a lot of adjustments and changes, and the lighter your lines are, the easier it is to erase, and the less permanent those lines are. You're not embedding it into the paper. So what I'm sketching with is just a number 4H pencil. If you're not familiar, you have H pencils, B pencils, and then right in the middle you have the HB. Your B pencils are going to be your softer lead, which means they'll make darker marks, leave more graphite behind. And then your H pencils are going to be your harder pencils, and they're going to be leaving less graphite behind. And so your marks are already going to be lighter using those H pencils. So that's what I do my sketches with. Now, if I were going to draw this thing all the way out, complete the drawing and ink it or paint it, I would definitely want my pencil lines to be very light, so that after the inking or the initial line work, I could go back in and easily erase the pencil marks that were left behind. So yeah, I think at this point what I'm going to do is some time lapse, because I think I've got a little over 2 hours of footage and I don't want to make a 2-hour video. So we're going to do a little bit of magic fast forwarding here. Here we go. Hold on. Buckle your seatbelts. Whew! Alright, so now we've got something that sort of resembles a flower. Please keep in mind I'm just a beginner and an art baby, as Sam Yang would say. But we've got a very rough kind of sketch of something flower shaped, and that's what I was going for. So now what I'm going to want to do is go in with a softer pencil. I'm going to use, I think I have an 8B in this video, and if you were doing this for maybe inking, if you're going to use like a Sharpie or a micro pen, something, a fine liner, then you could go right over the pencil and let that dry, and then go in and erase the pencil on top of that. But I'm just using a softer pencil because it's going to darken the lines up a little bit, and kind of I'll kind of be picking out the lines that I want to keep, because I've got a lot of construction lines in there, and so I want to just kind of bold out the lines that I want to keep. That way when I bring it into Procreate, it'll be easier to see, and I won't have to sift through the clutter of the construction lines and all of that. So that's what we're going to do here, and I think we'll reincorporate that magic time lapse for this part as well. You can see I'm just going in and slowly putting in those lines. We'll do a few lines and then we'll do the time warp. It's so satisfying using those 8B and 12B pencils. They just have a dark, rich black color that's somehow soothing. All right, I think it's time lapse time. All right, so here we are, just putting in the final bold lines there. This is probably one of the most satisfying steps. I don't know why, but it certainly is. And keep in mind, the lines that I'm putting down now are just guidelines. They're just to guide me when I put this into Procreate. The shape may change a little bit. The placement of the lines may change a little bit. You know, you're gonna kind of drift from this original guideline. It's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not saying I'm proud of this piece. Flowers are difficult for me, So the next thing I'll do is I'll just take a picture of it with my iPad. It's the simplest way. You can take a picture with your phone and email it to yourself. But if I take a picture with the iPad, it's already in there. I don't have to open an email and download. Then what I'll do is I'll open up Procreate. Now in Procreate, this is the gallery. So the gallery has all of my doodles and drawings and practice pieces. And the reason I'm doing a simple piece right now is because something like this is a piece I did. It took me probably close to 2 weeks to knock that out. And I didn't want to spend 2 weeks making this video. This guy here, I think it was probably a little over a week and a half maybe. So I'm very slow and very new at this stuff. So with that being said, now I'm in the gallery. And so what you'll want to do in the gallery is choose your canvas. The little file folder with the plus up in the top right. What I typically will use is a 4000 by 4000 pixel or 3000 by 3000. I like square canvases, and that seems to be a good size for like Instagram. You want to make sure you're set up to have your DPI at least 300. Your layers are going to vary based on your model and your canvas size. Here I have 61 layers. That's more than enough. You'll also want to make sure that you've got the right color set up. I'm not going to delve too much into that, but this is what I'm using. That's my color setup. So now I've got a 4000 by 4000 canvas. What I'll do is I'll go to the tool button in the top right there, and I'll go to add. Eventually, there we go, add, and I'll insert a photo. That brings up my photo gallery. My sketch is already in there. Boom, it's on the canvas. So you can see it's super convenient. Then I'll just kind of size it up about the size I want, about the placement I want, and get it kind of put where I want for now. It can be moved later on once you do the ink lines or the line work. But generally, I want it about where it's going to end up being. Now I will lower the opacity so that I can place another layer above it. It's almost like tracing paper or a light table. So I place another layer above it, and this is going to be my ink layer. But what I'm going to do here is go ahead, I think, here we go. So these are some brushes. I have a lot of brushes, but there are some good ones from the Broken Puppet that have step-by-step on-screen draw along. Very good. I guess I'm going to just do my inking now. So I've got, I'm going to use this calligraphy pen, the Monoline. It's a very, very good line work brush. It's just going to be non-pressure sensitive, non-tapered. No matter how hard or light you press, it's only going to be the size that you have it set at. The tapered brushes are way more fun for like, I don't know, cartoon drawing and stuff like that, or for variant line weights within the line. And I'll show you an example of that. I love these pens. As I press harder, the line gets thicker. As I let up, it gets thinner. That's the pressure sensitivity. And it gets thicker again. Love using those brushes. But for this video, we're just going to use the easiest one to use, which is the Calligraphy Monoline. It's a little cartoon eye. Really like using that brush. So anyway, we'll clear that out. We'll go back to the calligraphy brushes and the Monoline. This one works really well for simple line work. I'll probably only use 2, maybe 3 line weights in this. And that seems to be the one I want. I'm going to use a little bit heavier line on the outside areas and a little bit on the inside too. And then I'll go just slightly thinner on the inside and for the detail. There's not a lot of detail in this doodle, but there's a little. The great thing about inking on Procreate is the undo. My God, I use that. It's so nice. You can try something out, you can try a shape out. If you don't like the way it looks, you just undo and try something else. You'll see me doing that a lot. Like, I don't even like that whole thing right there, but I kept it. It's fine. That's definitely not going to stay. No way. Alright, yeah. So yeah, the undo button, and it's very handy. Now I will say, if you're inking using like a fine liner on paper, for me that's a little easier. There's probably less need to undo. You got areas like this where you go past with the liner. You just go in with your brush, and what I'll do is, in this example, is I will hold down the eraser until it's using the same brush that I'm painting with or drawing with. Then you just go in and erase those overdrawn areas. And so I'll go around this entire sketch, kind of reshaping, following the general shape that I have, but I may make some creative choices, like this leaf. And so, at this point in time, I suggest we fast forward to the future where I have it all lined out. Alright, so another cool feature about Procreate, if I'm drawing something simple like these arcs that I'm putting in, I can kind of generally draw them and then hold it, and it will snap them to the perfect arc shape, and I can kind of maneuver those a little bit. This works really well for simple arcs, circles, ovals, stuff like that that isn't organic or complex shape. But that's a pretty nice feature to have as well. Okay, so there's the line work. There it is. A nice cartoony flower shaped thing. And now we're gonna begin doing some shading. So I'm gonna add actually 3 layers. And one of those layers is gonna be for shadows or shading. One of those layers is going to be for color flats, or color, and one of those layers is going to be for highlights. It's simple to change the name of a layer to kind of keep track of them. I don't generally do that, but for this video I thought it'd be kind of nice to have them named. Now, once you have the layers named, you'll want to move them below the line work. You want all of your layers below the line work. Typically, the setup I'll have is highlights at the very top, shadows in the middle, and colors at the bottom. So what that does is just like it looks like. The shadows will be above the colors. So if I'm putting in the shadows first, which I am, I can go in and do all my shadows, and then beneath the shadows do the colors, so that I'm not coloring over the shadow that I've added or the shade. What I also do is once I'm done with the line work, is I duplicate it. I always duplicate the line work. And the reason I duplicate it is, so if I want to use this line work for, say, a painting, I want to use it as a stencil for a painting, or if I want to use it as a stencil for a tattoo, or if I just want to totally redo the color job I did on this piece. I have the line work already done. I don't have to redo it. I can just take that line work and do whatever else I needed to do with it separately. I just like to have a copy of the line work. So the brushes I'll use is for coloring and shading will be either a soft rendering brush, that's the top one there, spray paint, that's the one I'm playing with now, I believe, or there's in materials there is a brush called Noise that I've started using like maybe over the last month, Noise brush, and it really gives some textured feel to it. So it's a lot more like splattery paint, but it kind of gives some texture, and I really like that for just adding that texture. But for this shadow, I'm gonna just use the medium nozzle spray paint or spray brush, and I'm just gonna go in here, and the reason I want my shadows on a separate layer, so if I go overboard with the shadows, which I think I do in this one, if I go overboard with the shadows, or I put the shadows in the wrong spot, or I want to add shadow or darken something, I can do that on its own layer without being destructive to the other layers. So if I put on a bunch of dark shadow and then I added the color in on that same layer, and I decided I wanted to get rid of some of that shadow, I would also be erasing the color. And it can be done. I've done it. And here you can see, let me just say this, that my line work is not all connected. So I have a piece of line work that's not connected right there. And so when I use the selection tool to just select out a certain area, if your lines are all connected and each section is separated from each other, what I'm doing here is just connecting that line. Then when I go into select, I can select just that area. This is also a nice feature. And while I'm in here, I see some stuff I want to clean up, so that's what I'm doing here. So I'm doing these adjustments on the line work layer. You can see some overdrawn areas I want to clean up. There's another little one I don't like. A little fine tuning, if you will. I don't like the way this intersection looks, so I'm going to clean that up some. Oh, there's another little spot I didn't like. So anyway, as I was saying, if your lines are all connected, you can use the selection tool and use automatic. You can also freehand out a selected area if you want to. If there's a specific area, you can go in and just draw in the area that you want to color or shade or blur or whatever. But for just very basic shading and coloring that we're going to be doing in this video, this isn't going to be a fully rendered piece by any means. It's really not even going to be a quality rendered piece. This is just kind of a quick showing you how I get the colors dumped in and how I get shadows dumped in and highlights. So right now you can tell there's some cross lines on the screen. The cross lines are areas that are not selected. So the three areas I did select are the left side of the leaf, the right side of the leaf, and the center of the leaf. And so if I'm using this spray tool, I can come in from the edge of that line, and it won't spray on the top of the leaf above it. It also won't spray outside of the lines of the leaf. So it kind of contains the coloring area. You don't have to spend so much effort staying inside the lines. It's good for noobs like me. So what I'm going to do here is just go in and add some shadows where I think they should be, or where I just like the way they look. I did not spend a lot of time on this. You can spend days rendering. I did not want to do that for this piece. So I'm just going to kind of quickly go in and hit some shadow in there and add a little bit of darkness to the flower. And this would be a good time for that time warp, right? Alright, so I've knocked in a little bit of shadows, maybe a little too much, a little bit of contrast. Now I'm going to move on to the colors layer. And I'm just going to use the spray can brush for this as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and select the color I want to start with. We're going to start with the red, the main color of the flower. And I'm going to do just some color blocking. Basically, I'm going to knock in some colors real quick, and to do that I can use the auto select feature and just select all the parts that are going to be that red color, and then I can just very quickly, very easily go in and blast in some red. You can also use the color drop feature here because we have the line work selected as reference. Color drop would work as well. I just like using the spray can. I turn that thing way up, and there you go, we're blasting in some color. Now after you get these color flats in, you can go in and do a little bit of moderation to the colors. You can also see areas where maybe like your shadow is too dark, and you can go back in and take some of that out, or anything you really want to do that way. The good thing about having your colors on a separate layer from your shadows and your highlights is you can go in and adjust each of those features of the painting separately without affecting the other features. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're just going to blast some color in real quick. Alright, in order to keep this video a little bit shorter than 2.5 hours, I'm going to go ahead and do the old time lapse again. Alright, so now we have some color blasted in there. On this little doodle, I'm not going to have much for highlights, but I'm gonna use the highlights layer. I'm going to use the noise brush and go in with a little bit lighter color and just kind of hit some areas. I haven't really designated a direction for the light source or anything with this, nothing too complicated. But we'll brush in a little bit of something here and there, just to give it a little bit of brightening, I suppose. And yeah, this will only take a second, especially with the time lapse, man. That stuff's amazing. I could use that in real life, like just at work. That would be great. All right, here we go. Alright, so we've lightened things up a little bit. Nothing too special. Last thing I like to do is add a little background. This is fun. You can do whatever you want for the background. This is just kind of a quick neutral color I think I'm going to drop in here. And what I've done is I've added a layer above the sketch layer to do the background. Then I can kind of play around, do whatever I want. It's not going to affect the drawing that I've made. It's all going to be behind that. And you'll want to make sure that you turn your reference off of your line work at this point so that you can color in, around, and behind the piece that you've drawn, especially if you've got maybe some transitional color like gradient color that doesn't fully fill in the drawing. The background will kind of fill in some of that for you. It's kind of like toning your canvas. And what I've done is I've just used like a skin color there, a little light tan, and I've used a fun brush in Procreate called Zombie Skin to do the kind of texture in the background. I think it's kind of neat. I went in with a slightly darker brown to do that, and then I'll go in with an even darker, almost black, I think is what I went with. Yeah, very dark brown to darken up around the edges a little more. Almost like a vignette. So the background's really fun. I've been getting into doing more detailed backgrounds, or trying to stuff with a little more, a few more elements. But as a simple background, something like this works. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the brushes in Procreate. So yeah, just have fun with that. And I think the very last step that we're going to do is, I think, sign the piece. I usually do that on a separate layer as well, so I can change the size of the signature. And you'll notice here I put 24 instead of 25. I'm still stuck in last year. But also, if I'm going to use this design for a maybe a shirt or something like that, or something where I don't necessarily need the signature, but I want to keep the background for some reason. Not often am I going to do that, but this way I can take the signature off, or in this case I could go in and change it to 2025 since this isn't 24 anymore. Yeah, I just change the size of the signature, position it where I want, drop it, and call it a day. This isn't a piece I'm probably going to save, you know. It's not my best work, but it's not horrible either. I mean, it's a fair example. All right, so that's that. That's the hybrid process method, one of them I use for digital art. I'm sorry about pretty much the entire video being voiceover. I do have a new mic cable now. The one I was using was fairly janky. Hopefully that helps to ensure that when I'm recording and I have the mic on, it's actually working. I mean, it's kind of a nice feature to have. So yeah, I feel free to comment if you enjoyed the video, or if it was helpful, or if you saw me doing some things I should be maybe doing differently. Love the feedback, man. Constructive criticism, I can handle it. I got a lot of cool things coming up. I've got some prints coming in from different artists that I'll probably share with you. I've got my second T-shirt of the month club from Ten Hun coming. I'm definitely going to share that with you. I'm always doodling and drawing. If there's something you'd like me to make a video on or go over, please feel free to comment. I'm more than willing to try to make things that you maybe want to see. For now, though, thank you. That should do it. It's a wrap. Wrap it up.